All right. It's not surprising to me that nihilism comes from a German. No, it does. It's not surprising at all. Like, shit. Oh my god, it's not surprising at all. Um, I grew up Catholic, but I'm no longer Catholic. I'm no longer a Christian. You know, I think there's something out there, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's just darkness once we die. Um, but growing up as a Catholic, I learned something that the Protestants will never admit to, right? But this is real history that I'm about to deliver to you. And the real history is this: is that Protestantism was driven by greedy German nobles, northern German nobles, um, who wanted to take away the lands of the monks and the nuns. Right? They want to take away these lands, right? Because, and that's what they did. They took away all these lands. That's what all these Protestant noble leaders did, right? Because right before then, you're living in this age of where the monarch is trying to become absolutist. And so this is kind of, sociologically speaking, it's just a pushback against the absolutism. Right? But what would happen on these monastic and I think nunnery lands too, but at least the monastic lands, is that if you're a poor German man and you want to start a family, then boom, they'll give you some land. These monastic places, they have land, so they'll give you some land, and they'll charge you, like they'll say, hey, here's some land, either build a home or here's a home, and start planting, and we'll take a percentage of your produce in payment, but the rest of it's all yours. So this was a way for a German couple to start a family up, And what what these German lords did is they took these monastic lands away, and now all of these German now all of these German people, they have to pay rent. Right, they all now have to pay rent, and what used to be maybe 20%, maybe 30%, now becomes 50%, 60% when you add up this and that, because they're going to charge you rent, and they're also going to charge you for this, and then they're also going to charge you for that, and it'll all add up. This is modern times. Like this is the movement into modern times, right? Because eventually these German nobles were themselves overthrown, which is sociologically logical, because it's like they're going to rebel against the king, and then others are going to rebel against them, but not just others. The more successful lords, the more successful financial lords will throw off their lordship and just become rich bitches, because a title means nothing to them. It's like the modern educational system began in Prussia. Fucking Prussia. That's where our modern educational system fucking began. And what is our modern educational system? Because these Prussians, you had these upper class, rich ass, merchant, motherfucking German leaders who are abusing their people, but they're getting the people to abuse themselves, right? Modern times. This is the beginning of modern times, where they're able to fool people with propaganda, right? Their propaganda. And what it was a separation of education, right? You had the German people were being given education, but not really. They were just being trained to be highly effective servants. Right, they were being trained to be highly effective servants. And then the upper class Germans would go to different schools. Right, they'd go to different schools where they taught you how to critically think. Oh my God, like what a concept. Because like the lower class, their educational system is just listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Obedience, right? Like I did a video on this, and it was about time, right? It was because like before modern times, you had the peasants, right? Now we live in such a dichotomic world. I don't know if I said that right, but it's like either this or that, and like there's all these people out there who are like, oh, you're condemning industrialization, but what, you're praising peasantry? And fuck you, I'm not praising peasantry, but I know from what I've heard, damn, I'd totally fucking rather be a peasant than a 9-to-5 industrial slave. Because like before modern times, I mean, people, they were self-sufficient and they did it themselves. You know, now if there's a hard year for everybody, either because of the weather or because of warfare, you know, people have to come together. And anyways, so you had these peasants, and they'd go out there and they'd work in these factories part of the time. You know, they work in these factories part of the time, but then they might just quit and just do their, like, maybe they're just trying to get some money, you know, because they're in the whole bartering system and stuff, and they just need some cashy money because there's this fancy object that they or their wife or their children want, and they can't barter for it. They need to pay money. So it's like every now and then the peasants would go out there and work, but they wouldn't stay, you know, they wouldn't stay. So these industrialists had to like, hey, how are we going to get them to stay? And once they did get them to stay, they wouldn't work. They wouldn't work. And so that's when the industrialists learned to put a clock up, right? And they learned to say, hey, you have to work from here to here. You know, and then they learned, oh, well, the workers are happier if we give them breaks and lunches, right? And so they started, oh, here's your lunch time and here's your break time, you know. Like it's so weird to me. It's so fucking weird to me. It's like, people talk about Rome, you know, the rise and fall of Rome. But what happened after the fall of Rome? Well, you had the rise of the Germans. You had the rise of the fucking Germans, you know? And all that Protestant stuff was the fall of the Germans. It was German civil warfare. I mean, Frederick was given the moniker the Great by the British because the British were using Frederick to destroy the German people. I mean, fucking A, like, you had all these Germans who just took over the whole of Europe. Right? Now Germany at the time, and maybe some would argue still, they didn't have a culture. And so these German leaders who would conquer Latin territories would learn the languages of the Latins. You know, but these were totally fucking German-led Latin tribes. The one exception is the English, who kept their Germanic tongue until they were conquered by the Viking Germanic Latin people of France, right? Now, the leaders were Vikings and Germans, and the language was Latin, and so Latin entered into English during this time, and English is a hybrid Germanic Latin language. But before that, these were the one German conquerors that kept their German tongue. The rest of them, the Franks and the ones who conquered Spain and Italy, and they all fucking didn't have a culture, and so they learned the language. You know, and I'm totally not saying this to say that, because it's like, damn, we live in an either-or society, which is just so fucking pathetic. It's like, oh, he's condemning Frederick the Great. That must mean he's promoting Catholics, and it's like, no, the Catholics, they were corrupt as shit. You know, it's like not every fight is a fight between good versus evil, like all the propagandists want to tell us. Sometimes it's just a bunch of greedy assholes fighting each other, or getting us to kill each other for their own greed and vanity. But no, the Catholics, they were corrupt as shit. You had all these pathetic fucking Catholic nobility out there. They were just losers, and no wonder they lost. Because, like, in the Protestant world, they did go for merit, kind of, right? Again, they trained their slaves to be highly effective, right? Just like they still do nowadays with our modern educational system. So there's more merit within the Protestant system than within this fucking bitch ass aristocratic system, right? Do you know who my daddy is? Do you know who my daddy is? I'm important because my daddy's important. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Your daddy may be important, but that doesn't mean you're shit. So, you know, hey. But this was like the beginning of the fall of the Germans, right? And the Germans, they've fallen, you know. And what comes after is yet to be determined. But the fall of anybody is a slow, agonizing process. Some of the times, unless you're a Syrian, they fucking fell hard and fast, I think. I don't know. I still need to learn more about that. But yeah, no, damn it. You know, it's not fucking surprising to me at all that nihilism began with the Germans, with Nietzsche. It makes sense, man. Because, like, what I learned for philosophy is that you gotta take a step back, man. Fucking take a step back. Look at the whole fucking picture. Because when you get caught up on the details, then you could actually, like, praise Frederick as if he were great, rather than a greedy, vainglorious asshole. You know, he used to say, from what I heard, he used to say, you know, the best cure to sickness is work, more work. You know, I hope that's wrong, because no, it's just it's just like damn, like if you're a slave, then yeah, no, fucking nihilism's gonna be top of your shit, man. Like the world's gonna just have no fucking meaning at all, you know. Um, but you know, I disagree. I disagree. You know, like I want to read Nietzsche because, like I chose philosophy, and I do not like most philosophers, man. Like, damn. I think his name is Diogenes the Cynic. I forgot, but I think he's my fucking favorite. Like he went in front of a brothel one time. He starts condemning all the men who were going in there, and some of these men would just give him some money just to shut him up because he was being like obnoxious. And then once he got enough money, he went into the brothel and paid for some services. You know. No, but I like Socrates too. I like Socrates. Now I've heard Nietzsche's criticism against Socrates, and it's like, fuck you. Like I did not like. I want to read Nietzsche just because like I've read some of his lines before, or I've seen some of his lines online, and he writes with a whole brain, right? Because your brain is both reason and imagination. And so many philosophers write with just pure reason alone, and they're a bunch of half-brain idiots. Half-brain fucking idiots, you know, so... I want to read Nietzsche just for the prose of it all, I guess. But I just don't have enough time right now. But he said, you know, he complained against his complaint against Socrates. It was just so lame. It was just so fucking lame. And his condemnation, did I say praise? But his condemnation of Socrates was that Socrates' followers are a bunch of bitches. Like that was his criticism of Socrates. They're a bunch of bitches. Now, you know, damn, like, fuck, I agree. I totally 100% agree, you know, but the followers of somebody is not them themselves. It's like, do this man the honor of criticizing him on his own beliefs rather than the idiocy of his fan club. Like, shit. Like, that's just such weak fucking argument. Damn, no, that's a fucking weak ass argument. And you know, because like I was excited about reading Nietzsche, and again, like I don't agree with him, but I don't know whether I agree with him or not until I read him. Shit. I'll do him the honor that he doesn't do Socrates. But from what I've heard about his philosophy, I disagree. Now, it could just be that the people who are telling me about his philosophy, like, are idiots and they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. No, I disagree though. I do, man. Fuck. There's just, I just think life is just so fucking awesome. I do, man. Fuck. There's just so much in life that I fucking want to do, man, and not enough time, you know? Especially if all your time is owned by a corporation, you know? then damn, you won't have any time to do anything you want to do. Anything that you want to do is it's on off time. It's on unimportant time. It's on time that's not important at all. And then if you're in a bad relationship, then not only is the corporation going to take all your time from you, and the laws which make that life necessary, but the person within that bad relationship will just suck the life out of you. Will just suck, and nothing will mean anything. Nothing will mean anything because you're not allowed to be you. There's so many people just stealing your time from you, stealing your life from you, and killing your spirit. You know, in a situation like that, then yeah, man, fucking A, life is just fucking meaningless, man. I try to tell him not to do that because you're not supposed to let cats on your food preparation area. But it's still kind of cute. He can't make the leap up to here yet, but he gets up on that thing and then he has to maneuver himself in between here and gets up in there, and then he jumps up on here, and every time I see him up here, I've seen him over here before, and I put him down. I'm like, no, but it's still kind of cute. No, it's like yeah, no, nihilism totally makes sense if any of this were real.